Hello everyone. Today we will be continuing with our journey of learning Jenkins, and the agenda for today is installation of our Jenkins on our system, whether it be a Linux system or a Windows system or any of the Linux distribution, and introduction to the web UI. What are the options that we have in our web UI, and what are the things and how to access the web UI, and creating our first task in Jenkins. Okay, so let's start with the first part, that is the installation part. Now, yesterday I told you in the last lecture, I told you about this site of pkgjenkins.io, from where we can install Jenkins for multiple Linux distributions and Windows distributions. If you want to install Jenkins for Windows, you can install it from here. If you want to use a CentOS Linux distribution, you can use the Red Hat stable directory right here. Or if you want to use a Debian OS, Debian Linux, then you can go to here. So what I will be using today is I will be using a Red Hat Linux distribution, and in order to install Jenkins on Red Hat, this is the two commands that we need to set up our Jenkins repo, and these are the commands that I will be using in order to create our in order to install Jenkins. So let's see. Now this is our system, and in the system we will run these two commands. The first command we are going to set up a Jenkins repo, and the second command we are going to import some security keys. Now here we can after this our configuration of our yum repo in Red Hat, or the package repository, we are able to configure it, and after this we can simply use this command, that yum install Jenkins, in order to install our Jenkins Jenkins software. But as I told you yesterday, that Jenkins run on the software of OpenJDK, or the Java's OpenJDK version 11 and 8, 11 or 8. Now our Jenkins would not work properly if we do not install these versions. So before installing Jenkins, what we will be doing, we will be installing the OpenJDK version 11. Yum install Java 11 OpenJDK x86 as 64. Now this is the Java JDK version 11 that we will be installing, and yes, and this will download a OpenJDK version from the internet and install it automatically on our system. It will take a couple of minutes. And it is done. Now after the installation of our JDK version 11, we can install Jenkins by typing the simple command yum install Jenkins. This is just this simple command, and it will go to the internet and find our software in the repository that we configured, and just press yes. We can see that the version that it is installing is the 2.263 version, and it is the most stable version and most new and stable version on the Red Hat. And we will go ahead and install this software. It will be installed in a couple of minutes. And our software is installed. Okay, great. Now our Jenkins software is installed, our Java version is installed. The one thing that we need to do is we need to start our Jenkins server, and in order to start the Jenkins server, we will use the command system ctl start Jenkins. Just this, we need to start the Jenkins service this is the service that we want to do something with. What do we want to do? We will start this service, and this is the systemctl command which will help us to start our service. Now, by pressing enter, our system, our Jenkins server will start. We can check the status of the Jenkins server as systemctl status Jenkins. Yeah, we can see that this our server is running, is active, and it has loaded, and it's working fine. Now, one thing that you will notice when this Jenkins is installed and is started to run, you will notice our new port number, a new port number that has popped up running a service. That is the 8080 port number. Now, this 8080 port number is the port number on which our service is running, the service of Jenkins. Okay, so if you want to what I can say, if you want to connect to the web UI or use the web UI, you need to connect to the IP of this system and through this IP on this port number in order to connect to your Jenkins web UI. So that is exactly what we will be doing right now, and we will be using our system's IP in order to connect. Continue with the setup process of Jenkins. Press continue. We will go to we will be redirected to a setup wizard where we will be suggested to install some plugins. So you can either select plugins manually, that you want to install this, or you can let Jenkins decide the most popular plugins that most of the people use and will be used by you. So you can also go for manual, but I am going to use this suggested plugins. And if you remember in the as we discussed in the features video, that plugins is actually the most powerful feature of Jenkins. So we will select this, and we will Jenkins will automatically search for the plugins, and there's an error. Retry. Might be a connection issue. Let's check again. So Jenkins will automatically select these popular plugins that most of the people install when they first time set up their Jenkins server. So these are the plugins that it chose: Workspace Cleanup, Ant, Gradle, Pipeline, Git, GitHub Branch Source, SSH Agent, Mailer, and many other things. So these are the software that these are the plugins that will be installed when the Jenkins is up and ready for the first time. And you can also install plugins along the way as the need of the time, and all are downloaded and are about to be completely installed. So right here we can see the log of how they were made, how they were downloaded. So after all that, you can see that it asks us to create a first admin user. Now in the first admin user, you can give any username, for example admin. You can give any password right here, and do remember this password because you will be needing every time in order to log in with this username. Okay, and this is the administrator password, so don't forget it. You can give any password right here and give your full name right here, give your email address, and you can save and continue if you want to create another admin user. Okay, but if you don't want to create any another admin user, you can just do the skip and continue as admin. So I will be doing this because I don't want to create a new administrator, and I will skip and continue as admin, and the password will be the password of the admin will be which we use to first time log in. Okay, now I will skip and continue, and it will ask for the Jenkins URL, and this is the URL that we will be using, and basically this is the URL that you enter right here, and it has accepted that and is asking us to confirm that this is the URL that we will be using to connect to us. Okay, and you can click on finish, save and finish now, and it should be done. Now from here we come to this page, and this is telling us that our Jenkins is ready for use. Okay, it is also warning us that I have skipped the setup of an admin user, and the admin user you can create your own admin user and this warning will not show up. So it is telling us to log in using the username admin and the administrator password you use to access the setup wizard. Okay, so we will start using Jenkins now, and we will be redirected to the home page or the dashboard of Jenkins. Okay, so this is the first page that you will see after installing the Jenkins for first time. Okay, so right here we can do multiple of things. We have our dashboard right here. We can create a new item right here. We can see the build histories. We will be talking all about this, and in the upcoming tasks. Okay, so in a freestyle project, and we have given it a name, task 1, and we will be clicking as OK. Now job already exists with name task 1. Okay, oh no, yeah, it was creating. Now right here we have the customization menu, as you can say, of the Jenkins task 1. Now task 1, we can we have something general, that is we have to give a description of the task. So let's say this task is for printing hello world. Okay, now after this, after our description is complete, this is an optional feature that if you want to give a description to your task, you can give, or if you don't want to give, you might not. From here we have couple of options to adding GitHub project, discard old builds, and something that we will be learning along the way. Now this is the source code management part. Okay, in the source code management part, we generally most of the DevOps, most of the software developers and people use GitHub or Git as a way of maintaining their repository. So here we will put, if we want to use source code management, and we want to see if you want to keep an lookout for a GitHub directory, we can link the directory right here, and it will keep on watching this GitHub directory. But right now we are not doing that, and we will be using these are the build triggers. Now a build trigger, you can understand by the word trigger itself that it is used to start something. Okay, now the as yesterday we discussed about wait a second. As yesterday we discussed about the continuous integration part. So in the continuous integration part, we talked a lot about this build part. What is this build? I didn't actually explain what this build part is. Okay, so right now I can explain this build, what exactly is build. That we are going to, in context of Jenkins, we are going to execute our task. We are going to start the execution of our task. Okay, once the task starts its execution, it will do whatever we have configured it to do. That means it will build up our project. Okay, it will execute the task and build up our project that we have instructed it to do. Okay, now after this this build trigger, we can configure this build trigger as we can trigger it remotely using webhooks, which we might see. We can build after another task, that if task chaining, that is called. And we can also use build periodically, that it will check for every period that our task should run or not. It should trigger the task or it should not. Okay, so these are the contents, but what we are interested in doing today is to build our what we'll be doing when the build starts. Okay, so now in the build step, we can use Windows batch commands, that is Windows terminal, execute shell, the Linux terminal, and so we are using a Linux node or Linux system on which the Jenkins is installed. So we will be using an execute shell. Now in this execute shell, okay, we can run any command that will be running on the any Linux command, as we have set up our single node Jenkins server, and it is running on a Linux distribution, that is Red Hat. So we can run any command right here. For example, let's say we can run a command like sleep for 10 seconds, and we can echo hello world, and after that we can run cal command, we can run date command, or any other command that we want to. Okay, so these are the commands that will run once I start the execution of our task 1. Okay, so these tasks are to be these commands are to be executed once the task starts to build. Okay, now we can also select the post build action, that what will happen once the execution of our task 1 is completed. Okay, but we are not going to do that here. That will take some prior knowledge and some more knowledge about pipeline creation, and we will see it in next few lectures. Now, so this is the first task that we have configured. We have not gone into the source management part, we have not touched the build triggers, but what we are doing, we will be executing some commands through Jenkins task. Okay, these commands can be anything that you want. Okay, but it should run on a system which can run these commands. Now we will save this. Okay, yeah, continue. Now we can from here we can see the configure. It is saved. Okay, great. Now we can see that our changes were saved, and we can save and exit from here. Now what we will be doing is we will build our task now. So we will click on build, and after that it will come as a new in build schedule. It said that, and now we can see in a couple of seconds that we will see a build history right here. It's building, right? Now when we come to the dashboard, we can see that our task was executing right here. So it has completed its execution, and we can go to this task and see what happened. Yes, now if our build is completed, it will show a blue colored circle right around the build number. Now what exactly happened behind the scene is we can see the console output of what exactly happened behind the scene that Jenkins did for us without us knowing. Okay, so the first thing was that running as system, the task of ours started running on the system, and it started building in the workspace, that is the var lib Jenkins workspace task 1. Each task is given its own workspace. Okay, so this is what I was talking about, task building. So building started, and after that it executed our shell that we selected as a build step, executed our shell, and these are the commands that we used to execute. So the sleep 10, it slept for 10 seconds, then it echoed hello world, it printed the calendar, and it printed the date. After this all of our commands were completed, and it labeled this build as a success. That means this build was successfully completed. So that is why this is the blue circle. Now for an example, let's say I want to fail, for some reason this build fails. Okay, so to imitate that, what will happen is that after all this, we know that these commands are working. I can whenever our program is failed or it exits unexpectedly, it returns an exit code of 0. So I will intentionally tell my program that give an exit code of 0. Okay, so let's save and rerun our task. Okay, now let's go back to dashboard. we can see that our task 1 is getting executed for the second time. This is the build number, the second build number. Now after the execution of this task, we can also look at the console, what is happening right now. Console output, and right now, yeah. Oh, my bad. Exit status 0 means that it is a success. Let me change it back for a second. In the configure, exit status 1. Save it and build it again. Now we can see that the third build is going on. The first two builds were successful, so that is why there is a blue circle around them. So we can go to the console, and as you can see, this is failed. So that is why it is giving a red circle that it has not executed as our expectations. There are some problems, so we can go to the console output and we can see what exactly caused the problem for its failure. So as I was talking about exit 1, so the build step execute shell, that was our build step, marked build as failure because I exited the process with an exit status of 1. So this was a failure. The same will happen if any other command did not work as expected. And this is how we created our first task and executed it and saw how it can be successful and it can fail. So this is all for this particular lecture, and in the next lecture we will be